Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to be with you all again. Next streams will be on Tuesday the 20th at 10 a.m. UK time, Thursday the 22nd at 3:30, Friday the 23rd at 1 p.m. So hi to Vitali, hi to Keyword, hi to Julia, hi to Sia, hi to Manisco, hi to Maurits and Alex and Ronan, and to Lando and to Manji if she's still here. So let's get straight down to it. How your personality changes as you age. So as always, all you've got to do is find the word to fit in the gap. Hi Marco. So let's see if I can do it without mouse problems today. I think I probably can. So here we go. Our personalities were thought to be fixed by the time we reached our 30s. But the latest research suggests they change our lives and bring some surprising benefits. Long, great word, White Stripes. Throughout, that looks pretty good to me. That looks like a double ice cream. So well done Maurits, well done, and Alex. Long and throughout. Initially thought to be, yeah, that works quite nicely. And change in accordance with our lives. Over our lives definitely works, Vitali. Throughout, says Lando. Initially and throughout, says Julia. Throughout our lives, that looks better. Manu. You can't put price tag on love, but you can put a price tag on all the accessories. Date, dinner, a bouquet of flowers. Okay, so throughout our lives, along our lives. Hello MS, lovely to see you. They change along our lives. Along definitely works. Too long have I been hidden in the shade. I like the inversion, Manu. So let's go straight for this. Long and throughout. Ice creams for everybody with long and throughout. I thought the out bit was going to be more difficult, but throughout our lives. Okay. Hi Manji, yay! Change throughout our lives that were first thought. So, hey MS and hey Manji, great to have you. Mr. President, I want to, and that I think has been lurking out there for 2 or 3 weeks, and cast it specifically in national security terms. I want to address an issue. That looks pretty good, Lando. Hello, Valentine. Lovely to have you. Change throughout our lives. So that looks pretty good. I want to address an issue. Address an issue sounds pretty reasonable, says Maurits. I'm pretty sure. So address an issue, says Julia. Let's see what others say. I want to address an issue, says Manu. Okay, let's come down to it then. I want to raise an issue. Okay, Mr. President, I want to raise an issue that I think has been lurking out there for 2 or 3 weeks. To frame, keyword, to put it in a framework, to cast it, as in you cast a piece of metal, you have a mould and you pour liquid metal inside it and you cast it, you form it, you frame it. Address an issue, says Manji. You're starting to warm up. To cast, to express, to rephrase. Yes, to raise an issue. Very often that raise, to raise a question, to raise a doubt. That's what keyword. That's why I didn't blank this one out, because it's not so clear. Yes, and cast it and frame it in national security terms. Cast in a mould, yes. Cast iron, a cast iron alibi. Said the journalist Henry Truitt as he Reagan a steady, serious gaze. As he interviewed, I like interviewed, that sounds all right. Renyard, lovely to see you. I like to bring up a question, to raise a question, definitely Renyard. As President Reagan, as he approached President Reagan with a steady, serious gaze. Good, Sia, that's not bad. I'm trying to remember the right answer for this. As he questioned President Reagan, as he told, with would work, interview, passed, queried, scanned. I think this is like held tight. This one's really quite difficult. The trouble is I don't remember the original. I wrote this last night. Hi Patricia. As he met, that's really good, Oksana. It's lovely to have you both, Patricia and Oksana. Addressed could work here. Hi, Oksana. As he met is probably the best. Scrutinised. I like scrutinised a lot. Addressed. Approached with, says Manjira. Okay, I think I'm going to get here. Gave him a serious gaze. No. As he saw giving would work as he met. New prompted. Okay, I'm going to give you this answer. As he locked. Discretion is the better part of valour. Ooh, I think that's a really... I'm not sure if I've got it or not, but I will put it here. I may have it, I may not, I'm not sure. Fixated. That was probably the best word yet, Lando, and you retracted it. Mogged is on my list. Disarmed is pretty good as well. He disarmed Reagan with a serious gaze. So to lock somebody in with a serious gaze, it's an unusual word, yes. To lock somebody with your gaze, it's like you're staring at them. As he fixed, let's see, Lando, fixed is the idea of locked. Fixed is the closest answer by miles. Unsettled. Okay, and then with a steady gaze. Well done, those of you with. Okay, as he mogged. Yes. Okay, I get it. Okay, so let's continue anyway. It was October 1984. And Reagan was on the debating circuit, battling to remain in for a second, pierced through with a gaze. That's the idea, Renyard. Yeah, he pierced him through with a gaze. To remain in power for a second term. In office for a second term. Office, says Lando. In power, says Vitali. Term, says Vitali. Power and term for White Stripes. Office and term for Valentine. Office and term for Julia. Power and term for Alex. In office and term for Renyard. Power and term for Mauritz. Power and mandate. Oh, I like that word, the second mandate, Marco. That's very good. In office for a second term from Manji. In power for a second round. Second round doesn't work. Second round is boxing. Seconds out, round two. No. A round. No, a second round. A second round of voting. In power. In encumber for us. Okay, so in office. Office, says Vitali. Remain in office for a second term. That's it, Patricia. For a second tenure. I like tenure as well. So, ice creams for office and term. Office is better than power, particularly as it's a president. Yeah? You weren't born at that time. Good. I already had so I already finished my degree. I think at 84 I was probably living in Madrid. Round could work if it was intended to be funny. Yes. A second round of fighting. He already poorly against his main a few weeks earlier. So Vitali says his main rival. He'd already done poorly against his main opponent. That definitely works, Lando. Okay, Sia, he'd already acquitted himself poorly. Acquitted himself poorly. Performed poorly, says Oksana. Temerarious. I'm pretty sure I've got it, but let me write it here as well. Performed, so fared. That's a good word, Maurits. The second spelling, the A-R-E-D. Opponents. Performed opponent, says keyword. Fared poorly, says Alex. Competitor, says Oksana. Acted poorly. But acted is about the decisions he made. Performed an opponent for Julia. Performed and counterpart. His main counterpart. Counterpart's not bad. He'd already performed for Manu. No ice cream for you till March or April. Oh dear. Rival for Maurits. Fared for Sia. His main co-runner. Yes. He'd already performed poorly. Ice creams for poorly. I remember Oksana starting with that performed. And rival, definitely. The runner-up is second place. The person who comes second, his nemesis. His Moriarty, his opposite. Okay, so to perform poorly, thank you, Manji. That's really, really, really kind of you. You are so generous like that, Manji. What can I say? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, thank you, Manji. You're really, really kind. Okay. Donald Trump against Jimmy Carter. Thank you, Manji. Well, now there were that at 73 years old, he was too old for the job. Yes, thank you, Manji. You're getting too chubby on the hips. I am honoured as well, Manji. Thank you so much. It's so kind of you. Now, there were opinions. He was way too old. Way is a good word for the second one. Being, no. Speculations is a really good word. Far too old. Too good guesses, Sia. There were critics. There was criticism, or there were criticisms that he was likely too old. That's a good, likely is a good word, Lando. Already too old, says Rango. I've definitely got Wylam. I've got one with Wylam, former erstwhile, and there's another word as well. There were whispers is a great word. He was far too old, says Patricia. Okay, discussions, rumours, grumblings. Well done, Marco. There were whispers. There were rumours, there were grumblings that he was simply too old. Okay, this is in the 80s, and in the 80s, 73 was too old. Look at it nowadays. Okay. He was apparently is a good word, he was simply too old. There were murmurs, plural, yes. There were murmurs, bullseye. There were whispers. Yes, you definitely got that, didn't you, Alex? Congratulations, bullseye. Well done. There were whispers that he was simply too old. Well done, Alex. Definitely an ice cream. He was considered too old. That's good, Valentine. After all, at that time, President Reagan was already the oldest US president in history, in office, says Lando. In history, says Oksana. History, says Maurits. In office, says Vitali. History, says Lando. Modish and Cicerone. I'm not sure about Cicerone. Yeah. In history, says Renger. In succession. No, succession doesn't work. In history, says Valentine. In history, says Patricia. Hi, Philippe. In office, or office, says Philippe. Office or history. It doesn't make sense. Absolutely. In history. After all, he was already the oldest US president in history. Occupying the chair. That's the idea. Okay. His in standing. His had gone for days without sleep during the Cuban Missile His had gone for days without sleep during the Cuban Missile campaign. Crisis, says Oksana. Bingo, crisis, says Vitali. His predecessor and crisis. Well done, Lando. Predecessor and crisis for keyword. His rally. No, not rally. His wife. The missile crisis, Cuban Missile Crisis, is a collocation. Crisis, says Valentine. The missile crisis, says Rainyard. His vigil had gone for days, but without sleep, Philippe. Team crisis, missile crisis, missile strikes, his head, Cuban Missile Crisis, his team. Debacle. No, I think that's the Bay of Pigs debacle, which comes before the Cuban Missile Crisis. his ordeal. So, his predecessor, JFK, well done, Reynard, asleep. So, his predecessor, JFK, ordeal. The Cuban Missile Crisis is a collocation. Truitt wanted to know, did Reagan have any that he could function in such So Truitt is the journalist. The journalist wanted to know, did Reagan have any capacity? Kudos, Reynard. Yes, definitely. Yeah, just JFK. Kennedy. Any chance, any capability. And in such a situation, I like situation. Such a regime, such a hiatus. Any idea that he could function in such circumstances? Did he have any gut? Shortcomings, such crunch times, basis, capabilities, such a situation, such circumstances. Did he have any, definitely Patricia, such a situation. Did he have any in such circumstances, definitely. Any hunch? Not bad. Evidence, that's good. Evidence is certainly good. Any proof, that's a good word, Maurits. Okay, in such conditions. Any assurances, that's very good, Alex. Okay, any doubts? It was simpler than you thought. So, ice creams for circumstances. He wanted to know, did Reagan have any doubts that he could function in such circumstances? In such turmoil. Turmoil would work as well. Inclination. Not quite, Philippe. And not Mr. Truitt, replied Reagan, holding back a smile. Did he have any doubts? I think it's a conjunction because it's option as well. Did he have any doubts? He could. It's a conjunction. So who's this? Keyword says at all. At all says Maurits. Okay, Oksana, there's a reporter asking Reagan questions about his age. At all, says Lando. Not any whatsoever. Not at all, says Vitali. At all, says Valentin. At all, says Julia. At all for Manji. At all for Manu. Not a bit, say for Oksana. Not a dime. Hi Maxi, lovely to see you. Not a smidgen, says Lando. No matter what, Mr. Gordillo. Not one iota. Definitely Sia. Not at all, says Reynard. Not quite so. Not one bit. Yeah, not one bit, definitely. Not at all. Ice creams for not at all. Not one bit works quite nicely. Not at all, Mr. Truitt, replied Regan, holding back a smile. And I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to, for political purposes, my opponent's youth, and it's a very good reply. So, and I want you to know also that I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and to exploit an inexperienced, a complementizer. It complements the meaning of the noun. Okay, that. Thank you, Alex. Exploit, says Lando. Inexperience, says Lando for the second. To resign, no. Ignorance would work. Experience from Maurits. Unwordliness. Yeah. I use fruits. This is verbatim. It's from an interview, Lando. Yes. Exploit an inexperience for Julia. And green and inexpert. Those are good words, Manu. Exploit an inexperience. Criticise. Very good, Renyard. Youth and... I'm not going to leverage. Leverage is a good word, Vitali. To use to make power. Manipulate. You're going to manipulate your... So I'm not going to manipulate. I think without the... manipulate for political purposes. I think manipulate would probably work. Leverage is a very good word, yes. You say, I think manipulate without the commas. I'm not going to manipulate for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience. Benefit, to make something work to your advantage. Okay. His response was met with laughter and applause and preceded a victory in the election. Highlight. I'm not going to highlight. That would work, Valentine. Leverage works very nicely here because he's leveraging a concept to get votes. With great laughter. Resounding laughter is a good word. Resounding, says White Stripes. We need another adjective to go in this first one. A resounding victory. A resounding victory. An overwhelming victory. What's the collocation of an overwhelming victory? Raucous laughter. Well done, Alex, with raucous laughter. That's the ice cream word for the first one. Raucous laughter. But this is a collocation with a victory, political victory, a very well done, Alex. 2 ice creams for Alex there. A landslide victory. He was met with raucous laughter, and this preceded a landslide victory. A total victory. Landslide. A landslide. This is the collocation. And raucous laughter. That's very good, Alex. You should be very pleased. Manji, yes, a landslide victory is when one side wins an election by miles. An impressive victory, good. Reagan's, however, held more truth than he knew. I like this word as well. Reagan's words. Yes, Lando. Words would do. It's more than that, though. Words for Maurits. Words for Reynard and Oksana and Julia. Answer for White Stripes. Words for Alex. Remarks for Sia. So, synonym for funny remark. Words for Manji. Remarks for keyword. Responses for Oksana. A Cinderella tale in comparison with other people, yes. Speech is a good word from Yegorich. Welcome Yegorich, his stand. Retort. Retort is good keyword. Funny retort. Response. Patricia. Ice cream for Patricia. Well done, Patricia. Is that Patricia? Yeah, it's definitely Patricia. Reagan's quip. A quip, a joke. Well done, Patricia. That's really good. Congratulations. Reagan's quip, however, held more truth than he knew. His reaction. Okay, a quip is a funny retort, a funny phrase. Admission. Well done, Manisco. It's like a joking retort, a joking rejoinder. Quip like retort and rejoinder, but it's funny as well. Rhetoric. Quip. It's quip. Okay, so his quip held more truth than he knew. He didn't just have experience on his, he would also have had a mature personality. Well, so side for keyword, side for White Stripes. On his opponent, no. On his side, on his side. Side looks pretty good to me, Maurits. Well done, Manu. No ice cream. Okay, a very nice niçoise salad for Patricia. Side for Manji, good. Side for Oksana. Side for Julia. Okay, he would have had, he didn't just have, on his side for Reynard. On his resume, yes, I guess. He would also have had. Yes, I'm not terribly happy with that would. You see, I think he also had a mature personality. Crème brûlée, would love it. His tenure. No, he's talking about himself. The writer is talking about Reagan. But no cigar. Close but no cigar. You hate salads. Well, a croque madame then, perhaps. We're all familiar with the physical transformation that aging... It sounds like a question. I agree with you, Maurits. It's a bit weird. Pouring olive oil with brings. With apples and pineapples. I've got 2 pineapples here ready to eat. Brings, says Maurice. Brings, says Valentine. Brings about, says Sia. Entails, I love it, Lando. Well done. Triggers, says Oksana. Brings, says Manji. It's not that odd. He would presumably also have had. It's less direct. The writer is distancing himself from a direct claim. Yes, for example. Take care, Renyard. I hope to see you on Tuesday. Aging indeed. You'll have the ice cream, says Patricia. Okay, aging brings, definitely. See you, Renyard. Engenders. Engenders is a great word, isn't it, White Stripes? Induces. I like induces from Oksana. Hi, Hadi. Ensued means comes afterwards. Entailed. Hi, David. Great to have you. The skin loses its elasticity. The gums recede. Our noses grow. Hairs up in peculiar places. Show up. Hairs pop up. Have an advantage on. What can I say, Alex? Sprout up. Spring up's a very good word from Vitali as well. Crop up. Okay, another ice cream for Alex. Sprout up. Our noses grow and hairs sprout up. Crop up would definitely work, keyword. And spring up's a very good one from Vitali. Bob up. Yes, or pop up. I think probably better pop up. But I like that bob idea. Pineapple with cherries and a little bit of chocolate. Sounds delicious. That surprised you. Okay. While also disappear... Pop, not bop. Pop, to pop up. While also disappearing entirely from others, and those precious inches of height to which we cling to start to fade away. That's the word I would have chosen, Vitali. Today is Alex, definitely, Manji, I quite agree. To wither away is good from White Stripes. To fade away. To burgeon up is a good word, Manu. Fade away. To shed away. Mouse fixed. Yes, I hope so. I think so. I've got to do some more things about it this afternoon, but I think it's okay. Fade away. Okay. Slip away. That's really good, Sia. That's very, very close to the original. Decline without the away, Manu. Okay, to leave. So, to leave in a hidden way. Chip away for keyword. Follow Sia's slip away. To leave in a rather depressed. Beginning with S. Beginning with SL, really. To leave without anybody seeing you, without anybody noticing you. Slither is really good. Steel is really good as well. That SL White Stripes. Well done, Vitali. Ice cream for Vitali there. Slink away. Well done, keyword. Well done, Alex. Sneak away. Okay, it slinks away. It slithers away. You were 2 meters tall and now you're 178. That's pretty serious, Manu. Sneak away is pretty good. Some great phrasal verbs in this text. Yes, I quite like the way this text has been written. To slink away is a great phrasal verb. After the defeat, he slunk away. That's pretty good, yeah. Slip away surreptitiously without being noticed. And perhaps a little bit depressed as well. Slay away rhymes. To skulk away. But normally skulk is where you hide somewhere. I guess skulk would work. Now, after decades of research into the effects of aging, scientists are another more mysterious change, are uncovering, are noticing, are studying, are unraveling, are noticing, are unraveling, are discovering, are revealing. These are good words. I like discovering, Manji. Revealing. Unfolding, uncovered, says Manu. Unraveling, witnessing, observing. Good words, David. Are revealing, says Marco. Are exposing, are witnessing. Are uncovering. There was definitely somebody who said uncovering there. That was Lando. Ice cream for Lando, definitely. Are uncovering. Well done, Lando. Congratulations. Good work. This is what I love. Is nearly all of you are getting one of these really difficult words. Unearthing is a good word, Hadi. Experimenting with, says Patricia. The is exactly this. That we are not the same person for the whole of our life, says René Motus, a psychologist from the University of Edinburgh. The gist, well done Manu, the upshot is a good word from Vitali. The process, says Manu, good word from Manu. The truth is exactly this, says Oksana. The conclusion, says Sia. Conclusion is good. The bottom line, says White Stripes. The truth, says Manji. The proposition, says Alex. The discovery, says Maurits. The upshot. The ship of Theseus moment. The truth is the conclusion, says Valentine. The verdict. The triggering is the truth is. The conclusion. Who was that? Was that Sia? I think that was Sia. I'm pretty sure that was Sia who first. Sia and Valentine. Well done. Ice creams for Sia and for Valentine as well. The hypothesis is exactly this. Far from being in childhood or around the age of 30, as experts thought for years, it seems that our personalities are fluid and far from being done. I suppose. The second word is the good word in this one. Far from being fluid and agile, says Oksana. Far from being evident, says Vitali. Fixated. Follow this article. Benicio del Toro. When you've got your feet in the grave. Scientists say something, 10 years later, other scientists say they're wrong. And it continues. Far from being true, far from evolving is a good word. Far from being formed. Culminant, fully formed, says Maurits. Determined, fluid and flexible. Ooh, moldable. Well done, keyword. Well done, keyword. One of those is the ice cream word. Fully fledged, ductile. Okay, well done, keyword. Well done, malleable, says White Stripes. You could pour some Mont Blanc praline or pistachio on the pineapple. Okay, far from being fixed in childhood, it appears that our personalities are fluid and malleable. Mozzo, ductile, malleable. Fluid and cantankerous. Most of us would like to think of our personalities as relatively stable our lives. Throughout looks pretty good to me. Throughout, says Maurits as well. Through, says Valentine. Throughout for Vitali. Throughout for Oksana. Ductile. I like this malleable word probably better, but yes. During, says Valentine. Throughout. Fixed or set. Fixed or set throughout our lives. Throughout, says Manji. Patricia likes the text. Throughout our lives. Ice creams for throughout. Over, says David. Over our lives. That works perfectly well, David. Throughout for Marco. But research suggests this is not the during for Manisco. But research suggests that this is not the... We're almost at the end. Case for White Stripes, case for keyword. Case for Maurits. Case for Vitali, case for Julia, case for Manu, case for Oksana, case for Mangira. Not the reality. Reality works very nicely, Valentine. It's not the reality. It's not the case. Research suggests this is not the case. The case, the whole story. Whole story is very good, Patricia. The norm. That's good word, Maurits. Our traits are ever shifting, and by the time we're in our 70s and 80s, we've a significant transformation. How old are the researchers? They're all 120 or more. Undergone, says White Stripes. Undergone, says Alex. Undergone, says Vitali. We've endured. That's a nice word, Oksana. We've been through, says Sia. We've developed, says Manu. Experience for Valentine. Undergone for Julia. Yeah. Maple syrup, dates or almonds. Crushed hazelnuts as well. Undergone, experience for keyword. Undergone for Manji. Experience for Marco. We've made. Made would certainly work, Maurits. Undergone. Figs as well. We've experienced a significant transformation. We've undertaken. Undertake is to do, to make something happen. You undertake a project, Lando. We've suffered. Could be as well. We've undergone a significant... We've faced... Faced is a good word from David as well. We've faced a serious transformation. Thank you, David. I say developed, yes, because peers are jumping the gun. Undertaken means active. Undergone is passive. Undergone you receive. Undertake you do. And while we're used to couching, to expressing aging in terms of deterioration and the gradual modification of our personalities has some surprising, I think this is the last one, there might be another couple, but I think this is probably it. Suffer as in tolerate, yes. Not pain, yes, definitely. And degradation. Decay, says David. Decay, I like David. Wear and tear. Demise. Surprising effects, good effects. Twists is good as well. Decay, so deterioration and erosion, says Sia. Some surprising upshots. Upshots works nicely, Maurits. Some surprising advantages, says White Stripes. Deterioration and withering. Some surprising implications. And concomitantly, yeah, but this comma doesn't help you. Decay and changes. Degradation, so decline. And some surprising upsides. So I think probably upshots was the closest with Maurits there. And that's the end. Too long, put my hopeful lifetime. Okay, that's it. Senescence. I've got one on senescence. Decline, says Manu. Okay, so let's see. Next stream is on Tuesday, which is going to be the Tuesday, 20th of January at 10 AM UK time. Thank you, all of you. Upside makes sense because of while. Thanks for coming, Vitali. Thanks, Oksana. Thanks, White Stripes. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Manji. Thank you for the donation, Manji. It was really, really kind of you. Thank you to Maurits. Thank you to Julia. Thank you to David, and thank you to Manu and Valentine. Thank you to Oksana. Thank you, Patito. Thank you, Patito Garcia. So, thank you to Alex. Thank you to David Lutz. Thank you to Julia. Thank you to Keyword and Maurits and Lando. Thank you to Manisco and Manjira and Manu. Thank you to Marco and Oksana and Patito. Thank you to Patricia. Thank you to Sia. Thank you to Unemployed. Thank you to Valentine. Thank you to White Stripes, and thank you to Vitali. You're a wonderful group. Thank you all. It's been great. So take care, all of you, and I will